Man was eating when he noticed something strange. A burly guy next to him was bullying the waitress. Maybe out of pity for the woman, the man chose to speak up and help.
I am not done talking!
Well, I wish you were.
Both of their eyes were instantly drawn. At this moment Jeff looked unusually calm. Little did he know he was getting himself into big trouble. The hot-tempered guy quickly came to his side, questioned Jeff why he was meddling in others' business, but Jeff still did not take it seriously. The burly guy instantly exploded with rage. Although Jeff did not say much, the guy's anger did not fade. He grabbed Jeff's food and started eating it. He even spit on it after finishing, but Jeff still did not get angry at all. Instead, the guy looked very pleased with himself, and even picked up the knife in his hand, forcing Jeff to eat it. But at that moment Jeff finally took off his glasses. Looking at the stunned guy in front of him, Jeff said straight out, his knife was useless. If he dared to act recklessly, then the waitress would be the witness, and the only choice he had now was to leave. Otherwise Jeff would immediately call the cops. Seeing Jeff so calm, the guy started to back down. He did not want to get caught in such a crowded place. In no time he found an excuse to leave. On the way out he deliberately kicked Jeff's car. Although the mirror was kicked off by the guy, at least a pointless fight was avoided. The waitress hurried over to thank him, but Jeff kept staring straight ahead, listening to Daisy talk about her unhappy marriage with the guy. 10 minutes later Jeff came to the car with a roll of tape. He taped the mirror up for temporary use. On the way home it suddenly started snowing heavily. Before long the car quickly ran out of gas. He rushed to a gas station. Just as Jeff was about to refuel, the burly guy nearby was drinking a beer, and happened to pass by the station. When he saw Jeff's car parked there, he instantly realized this was his chance for revenge. When Jeff finished and drove off, the guy immediately followed. Snow quickly covered the entire world along the way. The guy kept closely tailing Jeff, but on such an empty road, Jeff soon noticed through his mirror that the guy's car was right behind him. He figured the guy was here for revenge, so he hit the gas hard, pushing the speed all the way to 180. Then at a blind turn, Jeff pulled into a side road, and quickly turned off his headlights. When the guy passed by he did not notice a thing. Jeff was hiding at the fork with his lights off, until the guy was far away. Only then did Jeff restart the car to leave. But bigger trouble was still ahead. The blizzard outside was getting worse. The view quickly turned blurry. Jeff tried to wipe the glass with his hand, but suddenly the car lost control. The vehicle crashed into the roadside. Jeff slammed the gas trying to get out, but the tires only spun in the snow. Helpless he had to get out of the car. No matter how much strength he used, the car would not budge. He tried to dig snow with his bare hands, but his fingers turned red from the cold, and still barely moved any snow. Seeing this Jeff had no choice but to get back inside, quickly turning on the heater to warm himself. In such a long winter, survival meant at least keeping warm, but now the phone had no signal. In the wilderness this was no solution. He turned off the car lights, to save power for when it mattered most. Soon it was dawn. Jeff's face was covered with snow and ice. With the storm getting worse, Jeff realized he could not just wait to die, so he packed up to look for help. But before leaving he went to the trunk. When he opened it he froze in place. The guy's ex-wife Daisy was tied up inside. When he opened it he froze in place. The guy's ex-wife Daisy was tied up inside. Turns out Jeff was a famous pervert in town. He had already harmed many women before. Only this time he happened to run into a blizzard. Now to survive he had to go out. But Daisy did not stay still. After realizing Jeff had left, she fought desperately to break the tape, banging on the speakers behind the seat. Daisy finally found a gap. Then with all her strength, she pushed the back seat down. Right now the most important thing was to get out of Jeff's car. But facing such a huge blizzard, Daisy was completely overwhelmed by the wind. Her breathing grew heavy. She quickly realized she could not escape yet, so she went back inside the car to keep warm. After resting a few minutes, Daisy searched the front seat for tools. The first thing she found was a film roll. Then she even found a bottle of liquid. It seemed this was the drug that knocked her out. Meanwhile, Jeff was trekking through the snow, but he accidentally Jeff slipped and broke his leg, but he could not stay here. Every second risked freezing to death. He could only rely on his will to survive, crawling step by step toward the car. Luckily it was not too far away. Jeff painfully made it back. Now the priority was treating his wound. Otherwise infection would be a bigger problem. As Jeff cut open his pants, Daisy was waiting for her chance in the back. When Jeff reached for his tools, he noticed the glove box had been opened. Jeff immediately sensed something was wrong. After seeing the mirror had been moved, he slowly lowered his right hand, getting ready to grab the knife nearby. Daisy noticed too. The air turned silent, just as he was about to grab the knife. The cloth was already soaked with Jeff's drug. Within 10 seconds he passed out. Half an hour later Jeff opened his eyes again, but his neck was tied with tape, and even his hands were bound to the wheel. Daisy rushed up with the knife demanding answers, telling him to say where they were now. But in this snowy wilderness, Jeff was already lost. Daisy felt despair. Was she going to die in this blizzard? She quickly grabbed Jeff's phone, but finding no signal, she completely lost hope. She thought maybe her mom would call the cops, but Jeff had already pulled a trick. Back when he drugged Daisy, he used her phone to tell her mom she was going back to her ex, then threw her phone away.
You son of a bitch!
If her mom had called the cops, they might still have had a chance, but now they could only rely on themselves. Just then Jeff noticed something. It was unusually warm inside. He realized the heater had been running. He immediately told Daisy to shut it off. Now the two were tied to the same fate. If they did not save power, no one knew how long the blizzard would last. By then both would die here. But even after waiting half the day, the weather outside did not change. Bored Daisy picked up Jeff's wallet. After Jeff admitted it himself, she learned he had always lived alone. But strangely, why was there a child's car seat? Jeff said it was just a prop, to make women believe him. Hearing this Daisy was furious. She angrily threw the car seat out. As snowflakes kept falling, night soon arrived. Suddenly Daisy needed the bathroom. She turned on the car light first, then warned Jeff not to try anything, and stepped out to relieve herself. But this was the chance Jeff had been waiting for. He struggled to break free from the tape, but it was tied far too tight. Luckily he noticed a key nearby, and then the car door lock. Jeff used all his strength, trying to hook the key and lock the door, so Daisy could not get back in. After great effort, he finally hooked the key, and locked the door shut. When Daisy returned she could not open it. Inside Jeff was stalling, trying to free himself, but outside in the cold, Daisy picked up the child seat she had thrown away. Before Jeff could break free, she smashed the window open. Before Jeff broke loose, Daisy got behind him, grabbed his seatbelt and pulled hard. Jeff quickly started to choke. He was about to stop breathing, but Daisy sensed something was wrong. Never having hurt anyone before she let go, Jeff barely survived. Meanwhile the snow outside grew heavier. The whole car was almost buried. To avoid freezing, Daisy used tape to seal the broken glass. After fixing the temperature inside, she turned off the headlights. By early morning both had fallen asleep, but Daisy was awakened by a sound. She quickly sat up with a weapon ready. How could there be sounds in this stormy night? Jeff was also woken up by it. The monster outside terrified them. They honked frantically. Luckily after a moment the monster vanished in the storm. How could there be a monster in the wilderness? It was said in the nearby forest, a monster punished evil people. Whenever bad people came here it took them away. But Jeff did not care. Compared to legends of monsters, he worried more about his injured leg. Without treatment, he might not survive the night. But outside the storm raged on. Their faces were already frostbitten, even turning purple. And now the car battery finally died. No matter how Daisy tried to restart, the car was completely dark. They sat freezing in the snow. By daylight both were stiff and numb. To keep what little warmth was left, Daisy pressed close to Jeff, even knowing he was the enemy. But to survive she had no choice. They urged each other not to fall asleep. If they lost consciousness now, they might never wake up again. But as they struggled to stay awake, Jeff said one thing.
We can survive with me, including this tape.
They instantly fought. Daisy rammed him with her head, trying to escape to the back seat, but Jeff grabbed her, pinned her to the ground. As they wrestled, the monster attacked again, pounding the car. Soon the windshield was ripped open. A figure appeared in the freezing wind. Jeff knew he was done for. He clutched Daisy, trying to drag her down with him. Seeing this, Daisy had no choice. She took off her warm coat. In the end, Jeff vanished into the blizzard, while Daisy rushed into the trunk. 2 days later, a snowplow came by. The driver noticed something odd. When he got out and looked, a car was buried under the snow. As he got closer he heard a sound. Opening the trunk, he found only Daisy's frozen body.